Is Trey ruled out regardless if he heals before the season is over? That's another reason I asked why about like Kyle's just shutting him down. He just seems kind of eager to have Jimmy Garoppolo back.
Well,
He's
so
like the
one
commercial
thing,
locker room.
Kyle can. Well, one, he probably is tired of, and it's like, Kyle, you created this. He's probably
True, so
tired of
shut it
just
down.
dealing with that, and it's just like,
Yeah.
oh man, it just feels good to just have one guy like,
Yeah.
cool, we'll do this for the rest of the season, and then deal
That's a
with
good
everything
point.
else afterwards. But
Because
Kyle
if he
also
says he might
sometimes
come
goes
back,
off
then
of what he's told.
it's a topic all year, right?
Yeah,
If he says he
I
might
think
come
as
back.
far as the injuries and stuff goes, I think it's easy for him to say right now, nah, Trey's done for the season, he won't come back. But then come week 14, 15, depending on how things look, he can say, well, you know what? He recovered much faster than we thought. Initially, they told me he would not be able to play, even though there were reports. But now he's looking good. He's moving around. He's throwing the ball. There's a chance that we opened up a window for him to play. Yeah, I could see that potentially happen, but I give it like a 20% chance.
Yep. Double B Studio says, what I don't understand is Trey can play like Jimmy and Mac Jones system and more with the deep ball, and he runs. Why is Kyle messing around? Yeah, I guess.
It gives him more. I mean, when you drafted him, you drafted the total package, right? Of someone who can do all these things. So, I mean, they're utilizing the run game. And I heard Kyle Juszczyk on the radio talk about running the ball with your quarterback. And he said, you know, he's a math major at Harvard and all that. And he talked about flipping the coin. And he says, every time you flip a coin, you have a 50-50 chance. Like those odds do not change. You have a 50-50 chance of getting heads or tails, right? Every time you flip a coin. Now, you can flip a coin and it land on heads 10 times straight, but even then, on that 11th try, you still have a 50-50 chance of hitting tails. So he said that's kind of like the run game where, you know, there's no wear and tear in the sense of like, oh, your ankle breaking, because that's what happened. It was his ankle that broke.
Right.
Whereas like, oh, you know, you just know on one play. It's kind of a fluke. That's essentially what he basically said. It was more of a fluke.
Of course.
Something that you can count on happening.
It's not like if I run counter bash and Trey Lance keeps it, there's an 87% chance he's going to break his ankle. Like, of course not. Of course not. Of course not.
So that was just how he viewed it. So maybe Kyle, in the sense of calling his plays, even though we know the more you run them, just the more you open it up for him to potentially get hurt. But maybe Kyle's thinking like, now I'm calling the play because I'm calling the play, not because I think that it can potentially hurt him.
Of course. I mean, I think that's my issue is like, he's calling plays like it's Madden. Like he's not even thinking about that stuff. Like it's just, what's the best call? Okay, but you got to think big picture. What about risk reward? I mean, obviously. I mean, there's a reason running backs get hurt so much, and you're going to use your quarterback like one. Hold on. This guy says, J55 says, do you honestly believe that Kyle did not want Trey as QB1? Jimmy is going to get the Niners to the playoffs, and then they will stack the line and cover the middle, another year of one and done. I know it's weird, right? Like, why would he name him the starter if he didn't want him to be the starter? I don't understand what's going on in the organization. Did he feel pressure? Jed said he could sit him for 2 years. That's what I don't understand. If
Jed said he could sit him for 2 years if Jimmy is playing at an MVP level.
That's true. That's a good point. Maybe there was some pressure from the organization because if Kyle felt he was ready, then that's not how you would use him. And if that's how you have to use him, then I don't think he's ready. And better to just have him on the bench than to keep pounding him between the tackles and see what happens. I just want to say, I said it in training camp when they started installing the triple option. I said they're going to run him into the ground. And I was picking the Niners to miss the playoffs, but then they kept Jimmy, and I was thinking, good, now I didn't think he was going to break his ankle. I thought he'd miss a few games, you know, playing like this. And I thought, well, okay, well, now they'll be fine. Jimmy can come in, they'll win those games, and then Trey will come back. But I was like, this is going to he's going to get hurt. I mean, he's going to get run into the ground. I feel like this was kind of predictable. No one thought he would snap his ankle. That's a freak accident. But dude, what do you think's going to happen? Running backs get hurt doing that. He's a quarterback who's 6'4" and never done this really before.
Yeah, and I think, you know, right now, if I had to say, like, man, you know, the injury tag, right? Like, injury prone. And I think people would be fair to say that, right? I mean, he started, you know, what, 4 games.
2 injuries.
And he's been hurt twice.
Yeah.
But I think there is, like, this one thing that's kind of looming in that is both times he's been hurt. I mean, he ran 16 times in one game, and he ran 10 the other. So would he be as injury prone if he just didn't run as much? You know, like, you know, with it. I mean, I don't know the answer to that, but I think running him less would probably be a little bit more ideal moving forward.
Yeah, it just seems like if he didn't play Trey this year, the narrative is, oh, well, Kyle's not developing him. What's going on with Trey? But if you play him and you run him and he gets hurt, people say, oh, well, you know, freak accident. Football happens. Guys get hurt. Kyle's doing a great job. Even if he may or may not be. I don't know. David says, what baffles me the most about running Trae so much is the fact that the first 2 games were the easier games to get Trae more, to get him more like acclimated, not antiquated, but acclimated as a thrower. Yeah, fair. Although it did kind of suck that it was raining in both games. Yeah. Josue Torres says GTA 6 leaked. Oh, snap. Is that true?
I don't play video games anymore, so I need to. I got the new Xbox in there. I bought it to play Madden, and I just got so busy with podcasting, training athletes, and it's like that. It's crazy.
You have kids in high school, right? Or what?
Yeah.
See, that's a great excuse to play video games. Once I get once my kid's like 2 years old, I'm like, you trying to play GTA? What's up?
It's weird that I had to think about that when you said that. Like, you got kids in high school, right? And it's like, damn, I do.
Yeah, you do. Flav says, haven't heard anyone talk about Brian Griese or Jimmy Garoppolo. Do you think they're a good fit? Any reason to think he can help Jimmy Garoppolo have his best year?
I think he'd be fine, man. Quarterback coaches are just an extension of kind of the offensive head coach or the play caller, I mean.
Yeah.
So it's not, they're not doing a whole lot of working, mechanics and stuff like that. Like I just saw somebody in the chat like, oh, Trae worked on his mechanics in the offseason and he kind of reverted back to some of the things he did before. I don't know about that. When you listen to some of the things that guys worked on with him, and I had Quincy Avery on my YouTube channel last night, talked to him. I talked to Greg, who had talked to the QB3, whatever. But everybody worked on like his front stride, which is quickening up his hands, not so much changing like a throwing motion. So I think a lot of people are saying, oh man, like the throwing motion looks the same. He's reverting back to what he used to. Well, nobody tried to change that. They just try to quicken his hands by quickening that front overstride or whatever the hell they be talking about.
French Toast says, went to the game Sunday to see Lance break out. He broke his leg in my heart instead. Sorry, French Toast. Sean O'Leary says, I live in Chicago. Denver's better. Oh, okay. Well, I'm excited then. That'll be fun. Wow. Josh Oliva says, no chance Trae plays this season, even if healthy. Double exclamation point. Okay. F.U. Jobu says, here's $5 because you got Kay Adams talking about you on her show. Schraeg's talking too, but he doesn't earn you $5 of my dollars. Man, hella people come to Kyle's defense, man. It's like, okay, all right. I'm glad that he has a bunch of allies. That's great. Good. His feelings really matter. I was thinking about Trae's, but everyone's talking about Kyle's feelings. That's cool. Mr. Tall says, what do I get for my membership, BT Dub? I don't know. I think you get to be like I forget. Yeah, I don't know. Let me get back to you. Hold on. BP says Kyle Shanahan is a good play designer, but bad caller, i.e. after the long Debo run, he runs again 3 times straight. Why not take a pass in the end zone after a long run?
I think Kyle Shanahan is really good at what he does. And yeah, I don't know.
Fair enough. Hey man, you don't have to come on my show and crap on Kyle Shanahan. I'm not telling you to do that.
Yeah, I think he's a good play caller. I think he's a good play designer. I think he does a really good job of setting up things. Yeah, no, I think he's good. I think
fair enough. Good. Alex Rock said this team's win so often feels like losses. Cowboys and Packers 2021, Seahawks last week, yet they behave like champions. I don't get it. That's kind of been their culture since 2019. It's been a very tight group. It's been kind of the similar group for 4 years, and they think they're the best team in the league, even though they haven't proven it yet. But they just need one more chance. This is it.
But okay, we say that, but everybody is. Oh, there's Super Bowl. This Super Bowl team, Super Bowl roster. You got to win right now. Got to win right now. So, like, how can we in the same sentence, like, and again, I'm not saying you or the commenter, but how can we get on them about feeling like they are a championship caliber team when everyone and their mom is mad at them if they don't win the Super Bowl? So how do you want them to behave? Like, how do you want them to act? I guess they got it. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, you got to act like champion. You fake it till you make it. There we go.
Fair enough. I like that. That's a good way to look at it. Jeffrey says, do you guys think Kyle isn't the best play calling adjustments during game? What could his issue be when he just can't adjust mid-late game? Well, I mean, he just won 27-7. So it felt like that week 1. It may not be that he's not I don't know. He has a very particular offensive system. Maybe teams figure it out at a certain point. I don't know. I mean, he doesn't throw the ball down the field anymore. It's all about running and yards after the catch. I mean, maybe sometimes he just gets beat. I don't know. What do you think?
I think if he got, I don't want to say.
I don't know.
But yeah.
What? All right. Flav says if Kyle didn't think he was ready, he wouldn't put him in. But also, if Kyle truly believed he was ready, why does everything other than playing him suggest he doesn't trust him at all? It's mind-boggling. Yeah, that's why I started the show with this. I want to get back to the show. Do you have anything to say to Flav here? It is mind-boggling.
I think that realistically, you have to figure out a way. Like it's almost going to be like a dog chasing his tail if he just doesn't play. So even though he's not quite ready, and I always ask that question when people are like, oh, Trey Lance is not ready. And I always ask, like, what does it mean to not be ready? Like, are you saying he's not ready to win a championship? Or are you saying he's just not ready to like start a football game? Because those are two different things. And if you say he's not ready to win a championship, well, how do you get him ready for that? And I think you just have to play him. So that's just kind of my thoughts on that. That's tough though, because everybody else, Kyle said something very key. I think it was on the Tim Kawakami podcast. And he said, you know, I talked to our players about what to expect right now, you know, with Trey Lance, and they need to pick him up, you know, et cetera. And I hope that the fans are patient with him. So basically saying, like, I understand he's not up to wherever it is that we want him to be at. Mm-hmm. But let's be patient with getting him there and give him the same time that you gave other guys, including guys like Jimmy Garoppolo. Again, It is tough because that's all you hear. But for him, it's like, well, how do I get this guy ready to do that? Well, we got to play him. And he's got to go through different adversities. And other guys have had the opportunities to do that. And we just hope that you give Trey that same. So that I think that was his thought process with starting him, although maybe not feeling like he 100% trusts him. Why would
you said earlier, like, Jed said it would be cool to sit Trey for 2 years if Jimmy was playing at an MVP level. Well, he wasn't. If it's possible that there was some pressure from ownership to play the guy they invested in, I think what we've seen is that Kyle is being strategic here with the Niners. Like, he saw what Harbaugh did. And he saw if you like go head to head with Jed as the head coach, he'll fire you even if you have a winning record. Kyle doesn't have a winning record. Right. So I think Kyle, I mean, he runs the organization. I'm sure he could veto anyone if he wanted to, you know, John, whoever. I don't think he acts that way with Jed. I think he's respectful to Jed, which is smart and strategic. So if Jed says, hey, man, I don't want to take Mac, I think Kyle's not going to be like, it's my team. Like Harbaugh might. You know what I'm saying? I think Jed might.
For sure
he would. But Kyle might be like, okay, all right. And then, you know, do what he's done. I wonder. It just seems like Kyle's much smarter. And if Jed inserts himself, Kyle probably won't challenge it. But I have no idea that any of that stuff happened. It's just theories to try to make sense of a mind-boggling situation, as Flake put it. Big Tone 707 says random, but does a knowledge of plays in high-level football make you any better at Madden, or can you still get beat by some guy spamming play action?
You can still get beat by somebody that is like, you know, cheese. That's what they call it, right? Like doing the cheesy plays. So.
Oh, really?
You can still get beat by that.
I stopped playing Madden in 04 when Michael Vick was the greatest player of all time. All you had to do was go 5 wide in Madden 04, be the Falcons, and just scramble around. And it was impossible to stop that. Get outside the pocket, throw with Vick. That's what
it's not as simple as that anymore, but it definitely helps. I mean, yeah, they've done some things to where it's still hard to kind of run around with like Lamar Jackson.
Oh, okay. Because back then, like Michael Vick was a cheat code in Madden 04. Mr. Tall says, "Oh, I see my star now. I'm still finding it hard not to be angry at the team's reaction to after the injury." I feel you, man. It's a very and you heard Juszczyk yesterday. He was prepared. He had a whole different statement, really a whole different attitude, but. Not that he had the wrong attitude after the game, but he realized that it's very emotional and people want him to be precise, and he was precise with his emotion. Anyway, CT Law says, we all have different opinions. The new term right now is Jimmy G revenge tour. Oh, my God, I don't want to hear that anymore. Kyle spit it in Super Bowl. Not Jimmy's fault, by the way. Up 10, Jimmy did his job. USA loves the underdog.
Jimmy didn't do his job. Like, you got to make a play, right? Like, the head coach – and he can do so much and everything. And when it doesn't go well, like, yes, he's going to take the blame, whether it's Atlanta, whether it's Kansas City, whatever, LA, Rams game, whatever it is. Yeah, he's going to take the blame for that. But at the end of the day, bro, when I'm not able to be perfect and when I'm not able to be that perfect play call that you need, I need my quarterback. Can you just make a play for me? When it was 3rd and 15 and they ran the wasp play, which was, okay, whatever. But it still took Mahomes dropping back 30 yards, throwing it to a spot 60 yards downfield to an elite Tyreek Hill. Like, they had to do it. If it's not for that play, 49ers win the Super Bowl, right? But it's just having a quarterback that can overcome, like, the adversity that's in his face. Where when the 49ers had the same opportunities, you got Jimmy Garoppolo who throws a pass. It gets batted down. I'm not saying batted down passes by Chris Jones is his fault, but it's his fault when he can't move or slide, and everything has to be timing and rhythm. And if it's not, then it's Kyle Shanahan's fault, etc. Like the guy's open, like so. Yeah, I hear what they're saying, but now like I need my quarterback to make a play, like and they didn't do
he said like Jimmy did his job. No, you know who did his job? Patrick Mahomes.
Patrick Mahomes did his job.
He did his job because he won the Super Bowl. Double B Studio says, so all of Trey's work was for passing and they ran him. LOL, Kyle's good, but not a development. Quarterbacks, and it's obvious. Rodgers next year, Trey sits. They better get Rodgers because really the only quarterback that Kyle has made better is Matt Ryan, in my opinion.
And I don't even know if he made him better.
He was already great. Not great.
Yeah, he was already throwing for 4,500 yards. And then it's like, all right, we're going to really kind of just take this offense to the next level. But he was already a really good quarterback.
I mean, Kyle's so focused on running the ball. And that's another thing. Like, why is he so focused on running the ball? When he was in Atlanta, that was a beautifully balanced offense. His Atlanta offense was perfect. Not perfect, but it was freaking great. And then it fell apart because he couldn't run the ball in the second half. He lost 28. He had 28-3. And now it's like he's on like a 6-year mission to prove I can run the ball. I can run the ball. Look at my running game. It's like, nah, dude, can you just bring back the Atlanta offense? That was money.
It was, and people forget certain situations in that game, man. He schemed up. Wide open throw, your running back whiffs on a block, quarterback gets hit, they're running back for a touchdown. That last drive by Atlanta before end of regulation really should have been a touchdown or points. It should have been points. They threw the ball, they picked up enough yards, they're in field goal range, but they called holding on the offense.
Oh yeah.
And it brought them back, and then there was like a sack. I mean, things happen, man. When you're playing, when we're talking about Super Bowl, NFC Championship, AFC, whatever. This is great on great. Great coaching, great players versus great coaching, great players. Yeah. And the room for error is very small from everyone.
Yeah.
And at some point, it's like my players just got to kind of execute and overcome certain adversity because this team is going to bring it. That's why they're in this game. And that's why you go out and you try to get your quarterback that can do more. I don't understand why that logic, people don't understand that.
Yeah. Yep. Jeffrey Ray says pressure from veterans ready to win the Super Bowl is more of a factor than media or fans. The team is ready now, and they trust Jimmy more. It was intense pressure. That was tough for Trey. I don't think he was ever really in a position to succeed. I don't think it's a coincidence that his best play of the offseason was in minicamp and OTAs when Jimmy wasn't there. He was so confident, thought it was his team. Little did he know that it was not. Jeffrey Ray, veterans windows that close if Jimmy can't win the Super Bowl. Yeah, I think when Trey becomes a starter in this team, I think certain vets can't be on this team anymore, man. I think they got to really give it to – I feel like it's a generational divide in this locker room. Old guys that were in the Super Bowl with Jimmy and young guys that weren't. But maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
I mean, they could have just – no, I ain't gonna say that.
They could have. Yeah. How does Burford and Banks improve decline with Jimmy Garoppolo as quarterback? Well, ball should come out quicker, but he's not moving. So – I do think he got sacked a little bit more than Trey last year. So we'll see. Maybe the sacks go up. Christina, thank you very much. That's very generous. Josh, Brady is already on the hot seat with Giselle. Might as well do one more with the Niners. It's true. We really don't know what Brady's end game is here. Maybe he's just going to get divorced. All right. Question for you. Mac Daddy D says the Niners are the worst sitcom on TV.
For who?
I like it. I think it's
the best sitcom. Like our numbers on Locked On 49ers is doing excellent.
Oh yeah, it's great.
Hey, ask the people on social. Ask the TV people. Anytime they bring up the 49ers, the ratings, the clicks, the views on social media when they put a clip out there, it is the best sitcom out there.
And people think like, oh, the Niners don't like Grant or they don't like this type of coverage. I don't look at it that way. I think the way they look at it is look at all these views that these Niners content creators get. That means that we're really hot. And I bet you they can sell more advertising. Just look at all these views about people talking about my team. It's almost like the Cowboys effect. You know what I'm saying? It's a good thing to be talked about. I think Jed understands that. All of a sudden his advertisers are paying him more money because he's hot. Smack Jones says the Niners listen to you. After you and your pop said it's a lack of remorse and support to Trey from the team, they posted a picture of all the players showing him love on Instagram. You the GOAT. Hey man, I'm just trying to be quality control. I'm not trying to tear people down. I'm trying to help. I'm just trying to give suggestions. So I'm glad they took that one because I think it meant something to Trey. Flav says, I feel like Kyle Shanahan is scared to fully back a quarterback because then if a quarterback fails, it's on him and not the quarterback. Now I agree with that. He needs to call plays as if he is a top 10 quarterback and see if they step up because we know playing scared don't work. I agree with all that. There's something about Kyle where he likes I think his dad too. He likes having a scapegoat. You know, you gotta have a scapegoat to keep yourself employed. And it's too bad. It's the quarterback, but as I said, the quarterback's ego matters. It matters. Kirk Cousins took off with Sean McVay. Just saying. Big Tone 707 says Trey versus Jimmy. LOL. You can't really win unless your name is Joe or Steve. That's the thing. They should draft a quarterback named Joe or Steve. It would make everything easier. They have Alex and Flowers dialed up, and they call it Capper pick. Yeah, man, it's tough. If you're not a Hall of Famer right away, Niner fans are gonna heckle you like you're at the Apollo, pretty much. Double B Studio says, who can possibly have it better than us? Nobody. Do you think Harbaugh gets a kick out of watching the Niners like go through turmoil? Do you think he like watching from Detroit, like, or he's just focused? I don't know.
You said Harbaugh?
Harbaugh.
I don't know. I feel like Harbaugh's in like his own world.
He probably is. Yeah.
He kind of Harbaugh, Nick Bosa. I don't know. I just feel like they're not here. They're physically here.
That's true. I know what you mean.
But their minds are like somewhere else. I don't know.
Did you see
thinking about unicorns and all type of other stuff? So
did you see Steph? What's her name? Steph?
Comedy. Yeah, Steph. Yeah, that was one of the funniest things I've seen.
It was so perfect, man. So good. Yeah. Josh Wyatt
even
says
the deep side.
So
you know,
I wish I could have done that. She killed that. Josh Wyatt says if Jimmy Garoppolo pushes down the field, it opens up the middle, resulting in less 5-yard picks. Who cares if it gets picked deep? Underthrown deep balls also cause PI. I agree, man. Thank you.
And he reaped the benefits of that last game. 2 pass interference calls.
To his credit, he was actually throwing the ball down the field. So I'm actually thinking maybe there is a Jimmy 2.0, and maybe Kyle's finally taking the shackles off of him or whatever. Oh, my biggest question with Jimmy now is, dude, can you stay healthy? Because if you're going to push the ball down the field like that, the team has a chance. So now you got to play the whole freaking year like you did in 2019. And you got to hit the big throw to Sanders down the middle at the very end. So see. And that's all the more reason to keep throwing now. Because it's like, okay, you're a bad 3-point shooter. Shoot the shot 5 times a game so you'll improve because you're going to have to shoot it in game 7. So do it a lot now. That's all I'm saying. This is the most positive Niners talk I've seen from Grant. Well, it's Croc, man. He brings it out of me. Vincent, thank you. Josh Olivas says the Bills being this hyped 2 weeks into the season can hurt them later on. I'm okay with the defense flying under the radar for a little while. Yeah, I feel you on that.
Bills are going to be good regardless, man. When you have a quarterback that plays like Josh Allen, like you're going to be good regardless. You know, and that's why people talk about Super Bowl windows right now. Super Bowl windows always open when you got a quarterback that's legit.
Hell yeah. Flav says, seriously, Grant, optimism looks good on you. I'm a very optimistic, positive person. Why would people say anything? That Kay Adams called me a bitter pundit. What? Me? Never. You kidding? Man. All right. David Sir says, I'm torn. I do want Jimmy and the Niners to ball out, but at the same time, worried he might be back next year to create the same drama all over again.
I don't think he'll be back next year.
Anything can happen.
I have my theories as to why, but
tell me.
Say that for
tell me. I want to
know. I think it'll be more so of what we've seen. To this point, I think we know what Jimmy is, right? And there'll be people, I got one person in here that keeps commenting on it, but I think Jimmy Garoppolo is a good quarterback. I think with him, you're going to win for sure 10. Like, I feel like that's the floor, right? Yeah. 10, I think you can win up to 13 games, even this year, even after losing week 1, right? Because you have Jimmy Garoppolo at quarterback.
Yep.
But in the biggest of moments, again, and I've talked about it earlier, I just feel like I know what he is and what he isn't, and I feel like 49ers will lose in the playoffs the same way that they've lost. Where you're going to blame, Kyle Shanahan's play calling, and Jaquiski Tartt didn't drop this interception, but ultimately it's going to come down to, did your quarterback make a play when you need it? And the answer is going to be no. And you're just going to keep doing that every year. So since I think that way, I think, he's going to play well enough to go earn some money somewhere else, but eventually you got to figure out how to get over that hump. And I just don't know if it's Jimmy Garoppolo. So maybe it's not Trey Lance. We'll find out. Yeah. But I know what Jimmy is. Now, I could be wrong. And again, we'll see.
If he wins the Super Bowl, if he wins the Super Bowl and makes a play to win the Super Bowl, they'll give him a 5-year contract extension. But again, we don't expect that.
And I would. If Jimmy did, I would give him the 5-year contract extension.
Yes.
My thing is, I just want the 49ers to win. Yes. I don't care about who's that quarterback and this guy and that guy. Right. I have felt like Trey, if he gets to where you need him to be, and that's a big if, because you don't know. But if he does, you got a better chance. But if Jimmy showed, I can do it. And look, Croc, I'm able to make the plays that you said that I wasn't capable of doing in that moment. Good on good, great versus great. If he does that, then sign him 5 more years. Yeah. And great, let's go.
Put him in the Hall of Fame, man. I will say I was wrong. No problem. What I wanted to say is the way we look at the Niners with Jimmy is kind of like I keep going to basketball because basketball is like more inevitable. Like the Jazz with Donovan Mitchell, they might be the 1 seed. Every year they're like, oh man, this team is great. Nah, they're gonna break down in the playoffs because Donovan Mitchell isn't a point guard and can't get a shot off and isn't quite good enough and he can't be your lead player. And you prove it every freaking year, and you eventually have to blow it up. And like there's teams like that in the NBA where it's like you have a level. You might win 50 games, you might sell tickets, you might have playoff series, but you're never gonna win. And you need to blow it up. And I feel like this is the Niners' last chance. They've had 4 years to prove that they can do it with you. You better win the freaking Super Bowl this year. Otherwise, you need to change something. And the change is Trey Lance, Danny Gray, something different. So that's what I feel like. Jimmy, you're Donovan Mitchell. Pretty much. F.U. Jobu says, I do it. If the Niners can put together some wins and be in a good spot at the trade deadline, what piece do you think is the most critical to add to go all in? So far, the interior offensive line is doing good. Let's see how they do against Aaron Donald in 2 weeks, but that would be a spot. See where Jimmy Ward's at. Maybe another tight end to take a little work away from Kittle. I don't know. I mean, there's things. A running back. How about a freaking running back? There's options.
Yeah. That running back position, I don't know. That's a strange one.
They all get hurt.
I don't think I've seen anything like this where your guy just can't finish a year. Like, we just haven't seen it. I think maybe Carlos Hyde. I think Carlos Hyde did.
Carlos Hyde. Yeah, I mean, maybe it's just, they're not really prioritizing durability with running backs, although what running back is durable? Carlos Hyde. Daniel Garcia says, does Ayuk get more looks this weekend? That near one-hander in the end zone was almost the play of the year so far. Yeah, I think it's about time that Jimmy starts targeting Ayuk the way he did Sanders. I mean, they're pretty much running the similar routes in the same parts of the field.
It's interesting to me. I see a Rams person in the chat, and it's like, man, they got the 49ers. They can talk, but
Niner game
it's like Kyle be kicking the Rams' ass. Like, okay, like y'all got one.
Yeah.
And it was a big one.
It's true. Like Kyle kicks the last 7. It was by 3 points.
For this person to be the Ramala person or whatever. For him, that's a weird name. But for him to talk the way he does about Kyle Shanahan and the 49ers, it's like, do they kick your ass all the time? Like, y'all got one. That was good. That was a great win.
Yeah.
But you can't talk crazy about 49ers situation when like in a couple weeks they're gonna kick the Rams' ass. Like, they kick your ass.
Yeah. Niner Gang Wolfcat says that was good. Niners because of JP and D. JP and D. I like that. The double D team. NC Niner fan says no Super Bowl, right Flav, INT, and pick 6 in the NFC Championship. Ooh. I don't think Niner fans need to root against Jimmy Garoppolo. I mean, he's the best you got. Unless you think Brock Purdy's better.
Which I don't. Root against him? Why would you root against your starting?
Yeah, why? Ramon says Mitchell on Cavaliers now, but good reference. Yeah, I know. They had to blow it up. They eventually blew it up, like the Niners will eventually have to do unless Jimmy Garoppolo wins the Super Bowl. Frank Gore is durable, which was the most strangest thing of all time considering his college career. We started off the show with like borderline negative conspiracy theories because that's what I like to do, and ended up making it the most positive show ever. I didn't see that coming, but it was fun.